Steve, it's great to have you with me. I want to look at the two-day rally of GameStop here and, you know, what it was doing. And it's hard to not have motion sickness when you're watching this. But when you see it, it's up 55% today. I think something like over 2 days, you've got it up. You can see the big bounce. What was driving this? Is there something specific?
So something specific? No, but I think what we saw again was the effect that the options market can have on the stock market. I think that the catalyst itself was relatively simple. We started to tick up. We got above $50. It was a fairly speculative type of day, and this stock being one of the bellwethers of speculation, we saw it. But then I saw a couple of major option trades go off that I think really catalyzed a lot of the speculation. And that's when you start to see it go parabolic late in the day, and you couldn't catch up because between the limit up, limit down, and the close, the people weren't able to do what they needed to in the rest of the session, and it continued on into the post session.
Okay, so what you're saying is that basically they're getting caught in this feedback loop, right?
Yeah, very specifically, the trades that I saw catalyze it were at 258 yesterday. I'm sorry for looking at the page, but I want to get this exactly right. 258 yesterday. The stock was already ticking up to 53.47, so it had broken through sort of the $50 resistance level. Someone bought 750 contracts of the 50 strike that expired tomorrow. They paid $6.85 for them. That got the stock moving, and within about 10 minutes, the stock was at about 68 or so. Then the stock sort of fell back a little bit, around $60. And then at 15.27, 327, but the stock was now at 60.80. Somebody bought 400 plus of the 60 calls, also expiring tomorrow, paying $7.75. Those are big prices, but that also once you see buying in options like that, it creates new excitement, and the people who are on the other side of the trade have to hedge. And if you have to do it with 20 minutes to go before the close, you're going to see some craziness happen.
And then what role do the retail investors, or I know some people call them speculators, what role do they have to play here in pushing this higher?
Well, I think what we saw yesterday was a lot of very small lot activity, besides the ones that I mentioned. Now, the volume was huge in both stocks and options, but a lot of it was small trades. But, you know, if you put enough ants together, they can move a huge log. And I think that's what you see is if there's enough movement in one side and people get energized, and people have learned to be energized in a stock like GameStop, that's going to move the market in a huge way.
You know, I'm wondering here, to someone as informed as you, what you're describing seems very routine. Options were bought, and then the stock investors responded to that, and it all seems reasonably as one might expect. But to someone who doesn't understand it, it smells. Is there a reason why this seems to smell?
Because of the ferocity of it. What I've described goes on all the time amongst the options market. You know, again, having spent 20 years making markets, you sell your options, you buy other ones to hedge, you buy stock to hedge. But I've never seen this much mobilization by individual investors, by people hopping on a theme, both individual and institutional. Don't get me wrong. There are institutions hopping on these trades as well. But I've never seen a situation where it's captured this much of the imagination and where options have kind of become almost weaponized as a tool, because the public has caught on to the idea that if you buy enough options, you get the stock moving as well. It's funny because options can be used to gamble. I don't like to think of them that way, but they can be. But options differ from normal gambling because when you make a bet on a football game, you're not affecting the outcome. If enough people make a bet on the options market, they do affect the outcome.
Yeah, they do.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.